Tom Brady has it all. 7 Super Bowl rings, over $300 million earned from his NFL contracts, and a great legacy with 2 NFL franchises. The list could really go on forever, but you've probably heard it all by now. Now, obviously, most of Brady's career was played with the Patriots, where he and head coach Bill Belichick were viewed as public enemy number 1 for nearly 2 decades. That was until their relationship soured and Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But what if I told you the tale of how Tom Brady reportedly had interest in playing for one of his biggest rivals? If you're ready for that story, sit back and get your popcorn ready, because you're watching Tales of the Gridiron and when Tom Brady considered playing for his biggest rival. When Tom Brady was selected in the 6th round of the draft, most people didn't expect him to play an NFL game. Even Brady himself was brushing up on his resume. But the reality is, when Drew Bledsoe got injured, Tom Brady had an opportunity that he never let go of. In his first start with the Patriots, he faced the 2-0 Indianapolis Colts, who many believed were primed for a Super Bowl run behind quarterback Peyton Manning. And that day, the Patriots upset the Colts 44-13. This was the first of many run-ins with Tom Brady and the Indianapolis Colts. For example, fast forward to 2004. Those same teams met again in the AFC Championship game. The Patriots prevailed, punching their ticket to the Super Bowl. But there was some controversy that surrounded the game. The Patriots defensive backs played physically against the Colts wide receivers. You see, the Colts had a prolific offense, and the Patriots saw that as a way to slow them down. This actually sparked an offensive rule change that, in my opinion, marked the turning point of the NFL's emphasis on illegal contact and how defenders have to play receivers today in the modern era. In 2007, Brady once again faced the Colts in an AFC Championship game. This time, the Colts came back from an 18-point deficit, proving that Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts could beat Tom Brady. But the very next season, Brady and the Colts found themselves again in another high-profile game. Both teams were unbeaten, and it's arguably the most significant regular season game in NFL history. It was labeled Super Bowl 41.5. The 8-0 Patriots beat the 7-0 Colts, but again, after a Colts-Patriots game, there was more controversy. This time, the allegations on the Colts. They allegedly pumped artificial noise into the RCA Dome. The NFL investigated and found the allegations to be false and said it was a network error. So if you haven't figured it out by now, the hate between the Colts and Patriots was real. There were countless epic battles during the Manning-Brady era, but for time's sake, I'm going to have to leave some of them out, but you get the point. Now that said, there's one game I'd be a fool not to mention. Arguably the biggest wedge in the Colts vs. Brady rivalry. In 2014, the Colts and Patriots once again met in a high-stakes playoff game. Brady, as usual, was under center for the Patriots, but this time, the Colts had a different signal caller. It was Andrew Luck. The game was actually a snooze fest. It ended in a blowout, but what people still talk about today is what happened afterward. After intercepting one of Brady's passes, the Colts noticed the ball was underinflated. Colts general manager Ryan Grigson brought this to the NFL, which sparked what we know today as Deflategate. After that game, the Colts organization began to unravel. It was just a few years later when Andrew Luck retired, while the Patriots just kept on rolling all the way until 2020. And that's the offseason when Brady was ready to move on from New England after his relationship with head coach Bill Belichick had soured. Brady had reportedly explored options with teams like the Chargers, Bears, 49ers, and Raiders. But there's one team that's often forgot about that I think, if things gone differently, would have shocked the entire NFL. According to renowned journalist Peter King, Tom Brady had interest in playing for the Indianapolis Colts, the very team that had been one of his fiercest rivals for nearly 20 years. And for the Colts, the timing was nearly perfect. They were fresh off Luck's retirement and had a season of Jacoby Brissett, so they were in the quarterback market. At the time, the consensus was that the Colts had a playoff-ready roster. They had a strong offensive line. Darius Leonard was an up-and-coming star. They had weapons such as T.Y. Hilton, and they even had just won a playoff game back in 2018 with Andrew Luck. Now, ultimately, the Colts did sign veteran quarterback Phillip Rivers, who did lead them to the playoffs. And head coach Frank Reich later mentioned that the team did evaluate Tom Brady, even studying the last 2 years of his tape. Now, Frank Reich was somewhat open about why they had signed Philip Rivers, citing familiarity. Reich had previously coached Rivers with the Chargers. Now, it may seem like a long shot, imagining a legendary quarterback joining a bitter rival, but history shows it's not impossible. A real example happened not too long ago. Brett Favre came out of retirement a second time specifically to play for the Vikings, just to get back at the Green Bay Packers. And actually, before Philip Rivers signed with the Colts, he was not well received from the fans. There had been many instances where Rivers had gotten into it with Colts fans in prior games or playoff games. At the end of the day, it seems like Brady made the right decision. He secured his 7th Super Bowl ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, while the Colts are still searching for stability at quarterback. We may never know how serious the discussions were or if there were any real talks at all between Brady and the Colts. But in my opinion, the idea of the greatest quarterback of all time joining forces with his biggest rival is a tale worth telling. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have a story you want to hear, comment below on what that is, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.